Happy Sunday, folks. We're going to do another episode of Tales from the DuckSide. Just random memories, and hunting and fishing escapades, and good and not so good memories, and memories that have been shared with me. So this this one in particular, it was February. I had to look it up. 2001, the day that Dale Earnhardt died. My roommate at the time, Thomas, had a boat. And he said, "Hey man, let's go fishing and listen to the race, and instead of watching it on television." And I'm like, "Man, that sounds like a fine idea. We're going out to the salt flats and salt pond and whatnot. This little place just outside of Savannah, and we'll catch fish and we'll come home and cook fish after we listen to the race on the radio." So we get out there, and Thomas was driving, so he didn't take much beer. Me, on the other hand, I took a lot of beer. And this is back when I drank. I was younger and had a good time doing it too. And we get out there and we're catching fish, and we didn't catch a dang thing. It was cold, and where we were and what we were using and the tide and everything, we should have done good. But that day it just wasn't all that great. So I took a case of Bud Light, and I was 2001, my 30s, late 20s, somewhere in that area. I didn't do the math yet. I was young. So, and beer drinking, like I said, to many times. Back then, if you saw me, I had a beer in my hand, Budweiser generally, but I had Bud Light. Thomas took a few Bud Lights. I drank every one of my beer. Took a case of beer, drank every one of them. You know how it is when you're on the boat. They just kind of go down. So I lost my hat. Thomas, up underneath his center console seat, had one of those little toolboxes. I made one for my boat years later. It's really cool. So I had taken my Bass Club fishing hat and stuck it in that hole. Well, I had lost my hat. I didn't know. You know why I lost it? Because I had a crap load of beer. And we're on the way back. I wasn't pleased I lost my hat. It was my favorite hat at the time. Everybody's got one. So the tide is high by the time we're coming in, and Thomas drives his boat on the wrong side of one of the channel markers. There's plenty of water, high tide, there's plenty. Tide was springing, I'm sure. Well, DNR was hiding in the creek or whatnot. We didn't see him, whichever. Well, they pulled us over. Thomas had a few beers, and you could always tell when Thomas was not telling the exact truth. He was very a matter of fact. And I knew this about him because we were good friends. So they pull us over, and they're giving us the riot act and whatnot, and they could smell we've been drinking beer. If you've been drinking beer, you wouldn't understand that. But you get around somebody when you don't drink anymore, you can tell. So, Mr. Thomas, you've been drinking beer? And he's like, "I've had 3 beers." And I'm inside about to die laughing. You lying MFer. So I had put my beer in a 48 quart cooler, my ice and whatnot, and we were going to use that for fish on the way back, if need be. So the officer's like, "Hey, excuse me, sir, can I look and see your catch? I'm not driving the boat. I'm of legal age. You can drink beer or whatnot." So I may have been a little cocky, but not rude or disrespectful. So I said, "Sure, you can look all you want to." And all my beer cans were in that cooler. All of them. And the officer looks in there, and he opens up the cooler, and he looks down there, and he goes, "Damn. You drank all these?" I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Thomas got his own cooler. I drank all these. I brought a case. The box was in there and everything, right?" And he's like, "Wow." And I look back on that, and I'm indeed, wow. So the other officer is asking Thomas to do the breathalyzer. So me and the other officer are at the back of the boat. And I look up underneath the seat in that little tackle area, and I see my hat. By this point, I'm playing the perfect drunk, distracting everything, being funny. but I'm not trying to. It just kind of came natural. It's just who I was, who I am. So I was like, hey, Thomas, guess what, man? Man, I found my hat. God dang, I was looking all over. I thought we lost it. You know, I was, you know, just all giddy and happy and whatnot. Found my hat. Funny. So, breathalyzer didn't work. It was too cold. It was malfunctioning. Thomas seemed like he had his wits about him. I did not. So the DNR officers let him go. Say, hey, you know, field sobriety. You know, you seem like you're okay. But they couldn't get the breathalyzer to work because it was malfunctioning. Here's a warning. You guys go home. Get there. I get out, go get Thomas's truck, back it right down. You know how I've been there a million times. A lot of you have. We go on, get home, whatnot. And we heard the wreck and we heard all the commentary on the radio at the end, but we didn't know, you know, about Dale Earnhardt. We get home, back in, clean the boat, all that jazz, go on in, and Bill France was on the TV because we're going to see who won the race. Because we were in a race pool. And you know who your favorite driver is? The guy who you got picked that week in the race pool. I don't even remember who it was. But and Bill France was on the TV announcing that Dale Earnhardt died. And it was like, damn, because we were race fans. And it was just like, some people probably get mad when I say this, but when Dale Earnhardt died that day and you see it on TV, it was like the president had died. Or somebody very, very, very important. You know, I mean, to a redneck, I mean, that was, damn, Dale Earnhardt died. Wow, that was horrible. And then, of course, you know, all the conversations the following week was about that. And me ragging Thomas's ass about getting pulled over by the DNR, and him ragging me about having drank so much beer and acting like a goofball in the back of the boot. So anyway, tales from the DuckSide. Had no idea I'd ever regurgitate this story, but looking back on it, it was a fond memory. And now I'm drinking unsweetened tea. All those beer days are behind me. So anyhow, hope y'all enjoy this. Hope y'all get a good laugh about it. And maybe if you watch it and you remember what was going on, if you can remember what was going on, what you were doing the day that Dale Sr. passed away.